Okay, I thought I'd just shoot a little video about why this is personal to me. I'm still going to get back to this list here and continue some of those and post some more of those. But before, I thought I would just stop and take a second about why I find this so interesting, why I'm so connected to it, and just really show you where this is in my life right now. And so I'm just going to grab this from up here and take it over to here. I'm going to grab my pointer. But as you can see, this whole area is kind of maps and documents and chainsaws. And then the other two books of the files are here. And, my billboard or my chalkboard, and then a Campbell's abstract and other documents and my spreadsheet. All right, let's come over here. Okay, I'll set that down there for a second. Oh, I lost a letter. I bet I can fix it. Oh, it's not a letter, it's a number. I lost a number. There, that's probably where it went. Okay. So, again, what I have here are some documents I bought in a thrift shop. There's 3 ledgers. They are the vital statistics of Muskogee County. And who we are looking at right now is Lydia Alexander of Kieften. She died at age 23 years old of malarial fever. And her father's name is Charlie Morris. Now, she is buried in a cemetery called Rock Grove there in Kieften. That's where the rest of the family is buried. And what I didn't learn for the first year and a half is that Charlie Morris is my wife Holly's great grandfather, and this is her great aunt Lydia. And in fact, way before that, we learned really the first one that people really kind of were very interested in was this guy, just 16 pages away, and that's Mr. Bass Reeves. He was a U.S. deputy marshal. And if you will see here, Bass Reeves has this Harding Memorial Cemetery. Now, in the 3 books total, I have 430 death certificates for Harding Memorial Cemetery over a 7-year period of time. This is a map that I have made based on an original plot of the cemetery that hangs in my office. Somewhere in here are these 430 people plus probably 2,500 or so others. And I'm going to show you over here what it looks like here in just a second. But this is what this map is doing here, is so that I can, in the long term, fill it in, because there is not an existing map of this cemetery with places where people are buried, just a whole lot of names of people that are buried here and a whole lot of headstones. And so I'm going to come over here for a second, and I'm going to kind of try to set this. I have these little hands here that should hold this for us if I can get it to keep its fingers out of the way. That's going to be close enough. This is Muskogee, right? Let me get my pointer. There it is. So Muskogee's here, and as you come down here, in fact, this is, let's see. This is downtown Muskogee right here. This is just a few miles, couple of, about, I think, 8 minutes. You just go down here and boom, you turn past the McDonald's and you find it at the top of this little neighborhood. And let me bring us over here and kind of center it. There's a couple little churches here that are still in existence. But at the very top of this neighborhood, now this right here is our county line. It kind of goes there and then cuts this. It cuts across. But this is, city line. This is our city limits. And so this is just north of city limits. It is in Muskogee County, but it is just outside of what we call, it's outside of city limits. And there's a whole power line strip. One of those industrial big power lines run all the way along here. And then here's a power station. OG&E. And so as you come up the right side, this road is not here. Do not be fooled by these roads. They are not there. The gravel road ends about right here. And then from here forward to get up into the cemetery, you got to cross grass. or wash out, and this, and also this kind of trenched area where they have the power lines. It's very overgrown. I'm going to zoom in on it. And so, as you can see here, this is the cemetery. And this is the original 4 acres are actually from about right here to across about right there. That's this original that you saw the map for. And then there's approximately 3 acres that are fenced off that belong to this farmer to the north that also have burials on them, but they are not part of the original ownership in the original land area. And so this is something that was done later and then acquired and has been fenced off by the farmer. They aren't letting cattle grazing in there, but it's also not, there are burials in here. There are even, you can kind of see them, there are even a couple right here next to the lake, and then there's like a row right there. But this cemetery has not been mowed or cleared in its entirety for about, since the late 80s, 89 maybe. There are a couple of, there's a 90 and a 93 burial, but they are done by family. They're a family of an undertaker, and so I feel like they maybe kept their area up a little bit longer. It's right over here. But as far as the whole of the cemetery goes, this half hasn't been mowed. This is super dense right in here. I don't know if you can tell, just a little bit darker. This probably hasn't been done since the 60s, but this here definitely since the late 80s, so 35 years or more. And when you get in there, it is very hard to find stuff. There is hundreds of toppled over headstones, damaged headstones, hundreds of standing, plenty of visible headstones, but you have to get in there to see them. And it's kind of dangerous. There are health hazards, trip hazards, or open crypts, things that you just don't want to deal with. And this is what I want to fix. I want to kind of find these 430 people that I have documentation for, that I bought in a thrift shop. I want to know that they can be found and that people who might be looking for them can find them. And so here I'm going to switch real fast here to, this is the original plat map. This was filed in 1905. It was done by R.H. Kello, who was the city surveyor, assessor at the time. And he, I bet, was paid by them, or the city contracted him to zone this cemetery. And it's Harding Memorial Cemetery. This is named after Mabel Harding, who was the deceased wife of one of the owners of the cemetery, of the company, the Creek Undertaking Company that had the cemetery platted, that's listed up here. As you can see, this, I'm just going to read it to you. It says Creek Nation. We're going to get to it a bit. This was not Oklahoma yet when they did this in 1905. This is 2 years before Oklahoma statehood. This is the Indian Territory. This is the Creek Nation. And this is the Creek Undertaking Company. Now, these are not Creek Indians. This is just the Creek Nation. The men that have built this cemetery are black men. I don't think we have any freedmen relations that I'm aware of in that core little group. That being said, there are several involved. There are freedmen buried in the cemetery. But in this core little group that founds the cemetery, there are 2 groups that immediately sell plots. When it first opens in 1905, the Home Undertaking Company and the Creek Undertaking Company. But this is the company that owns and controls the cemetery, is this Creek Undertaking Company here. And I'm going to kind of, this is the map of the cemetery. This is section 14 of 15 North, 18 West, which is basically your coordinates and shows you where the original plat of the cemetery was. This right here is on the big map. It's on the right side, about halfway up. There is a tree stone. It looks like a tree, kind of like the woodman used in this area. This says C.G. Lowe. His wife, Mabel Harding, who the cemetery is named after, she has a tree stone cenotaph there. She's actually buried in Nashville with her parents, but there is a tree stone cenotaph there, kind of commemorating the cemetery after her. This is on the far west side, God's Acre. This is an area where we would have, those who couldn't afford burial, those that people are sponsoring the church, kind of a pauper's field, if you will. This is at the top right corner. This is a lake. It is no longer there. They used to send people to fish. On the weekends, you could go to the school, and the buses would take you on Saturday from your local school to the lake where you could fish for the day, and then they'd bring you back to the school, and you could walk home. And so this was kind of a place of activity for many decades where kids would come to fish and other things would happen here. It's also some crazy things have happened around the lake. It is no longer there. They've kind of burst the dams. It's kind of flooded out. There are some drainage issues that are caused by it not being there. It might have to be addressed someday. This is the center, right in the center. Lacey, they had a child buried there in January 1905, an early burial for the cemetery. But this is the fraternal circle right here. And this is fraternal organizations were very big in the Indian Territory and among Black society at this time. And so we have a group of them that has kind of commandeered the center and have sections. There it is on the map, the fraternal circle. You come in here, there's that Harding Memorial Place. And here's kind of what a family plot would have looked like. This is a 20 by 20. So these are big. 20 by 20, you can put up to 15 burials in. And so these are big plots, big family plots, plenty of room to put decoration, fences around, things like that. Again, this is that lower right corner coming up. Here's that lower left corner. This is the Church Union Mutual Benefit Association, of which C.G. Lowe, our sexton, whose wife the cemetery is named after, he was a secretary of this association. And this is a group of churches that have bought a section, to do burials in. Burial insurance probably is what is the vehicle by which they are selling spots in this station here. And then this over here are individual single graves. And these are individual infant graves. And so over here, then there was a small lake with kind of a road that came in this way. And here's the specifications starting in the corner and blah, blah, blah of how big it is. It's 297 by 597. There's the upper left corner. There's that a little closer up of that with the description. There's that fraternal circle again, Grand United Order of the Odd Fellows, Household of Ruth, Sons and Daughters of Jacob of America, Ancient Free and Accepted Matrons and Eastern Star, Knights of Pythias, Courts of Calanthea, Knights and Ladies of Honor of the World, and the United Brothers of Friendship and the Mysterious Ten. And there are also some others that have areas kind of around. There's that Harding Memorial Cemetery, Creek Nation Indian Territory, Creek Undertaking Company owners. And there we are back to the original. And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do is try to figure out how to turn this story that I've got a blueprint for here on this book about very real people into the restoration of a very real place that is just fascinating when you enter it. And on top of that, we have this search for the lost grave site of Bass Reeves to either complicate or excite things, depending on how you look at it. But that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my video and listen to me. Thank you very much.